that's the last turn, and the high voltage appears between this disk and the ball, which you can see on the top. 500,000 volt is the breakdown voltage in between those two sections. In 1899 to the very beginning of 1900, Tesla spent nearly a year working on the largest laboratory he ever built, and that is Colorado Springs Laboratory. In that one, he built a huge Tesla coil with 15-meter diameter secondary coil. The top of the high voltage terminal of the transformer was connected to a high antenna. The antenna was about 60 meters high, and it was connected to the ball on the top of it.
When the Colorado Springs Tesla coil magnifying transmitter was energized, it created sparks 30 feet long. From the outside antenna, these sparks could be seen for a distance of 10 miles. From this laboratory, Tesla generated and sent out wireless waves which mediated electrical energy without wires for many miles. The old Waldorf Astoria was the residence of Nikola Tesla for many years. He lived there when he was at the height of his financial and intellectual power. Tesla organized elaborate dinners, inviting famous people who later were invited to his laboratory for spectacular electrical experiments. Nikola Tesla, financially supported by J.P. Morgan, built the Wardenclyffe Laboratory and its famous transmitting tower in Shoreham, Long Island, between 1901 and 1905. This huge landmark was 187 feet high, capped by a 68-foot copper dome which housed the magnifying transmitter. It was planned to be the first broadcast system, transmitting both signals and power without wires to any point on the globe. The huge magnifying transmitter, discharging high-frequency electricity, would turn the Earth into a gigantic dynamo which would project its electricity in unlimited amounts anywhere in the world. Tesla's concept of wireless electricity was to be used to power ocean liners, destroy warships, run industry and transportation, and send communications instantaneously all over the globe. To stimulate the public's imagination, Tesla suggested that this wireless power could even be used for interplanetary communication. If Tesla was confident to reach Mars, how much less difficult to reach Paris? Many newspapers and periodicals interviewed Tesla and described his new system for supplying wireless power to run all of the Earth's industry. This is the interior of Tesla's laboratory, showing a large number of machines supplied by the Westinghouse Company. Because of a dispute between Morgan and Tesla as to the final use of the tower, Morgan withdrew his funds. The financier's classic comment was, "If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter?" The erected but incomplete tower was demolished in 1917 for wartime security reasons. The site where the Wardenclyffe Tower had stood still exists, with its 100-foot deep foundation still intact. Tesla's laboratory, designed by Stanford White in 1901, is today still in good condition and is graced with a bicentennial plaque. The Tesla Memorial Society is asking that the Wardenclyffe Tower site with the laboratory be proclaimed a national monument. We will never know what might have been if the Wardenclyffe wireless system became operational. Nikola Tesla patented the basic system of radio in 1896. His published schematic diagrams described all of the basic elements of the radio transmitter, which was later used by Marconi. In 1896, Tesla constructed this instrument to receive radio waves. He experimented with this device and transmitted radio waves from his laboratory on South Fifth Avenue to the Gerlach Hotel at 27th Street in Manhattan. The device had a magnet which gave off intense magnetic fields up to 20,000 lines per centimeter. This radio device clearly establishes his priority in the discovery of radio. This shipboard quench spark transmitter, produced by the Lowenstein Radio Company and licensed under Nikola Tesla Company patents, was installed on U.S. naval vessels prior to World War I. In December 1901, Marconi established wireless communication between Britain and the United States, earning him the Nobel Prize in 1909. But much of Marconi's work was not original. In 1864, James Maxwell theorized electromagnetic waves. In 1887, Heinrich Hertz proved Maxwell's theories. Later, Sir Oliver Lodge extended the Hertz prototype system. The Brandeley coherer increased the distances messages could be transmitted. The coherer was perfected by Marconi. However, the heart of radio transmission is based on 4 tuned circuits for transmitting and receiving. It is Tesla's original concept demonstrated in his famous lecture at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia in 1893. The 4 circuits, used in 2 pairs, are still a fundamental part of all radio and television equipment. The United States Supreme Court in 1943 held Marconi's most important patents invalid, recognizing Tesla's more significant contribution as the inventor of radio technology. This is the photo of Tesla in the Smithsonian Institution. The photograph of the Wardenclyffe Tower commemorates his work with radio waves in the 1890s. This is the interior of the Department of Electricity at the Smithsonian, with Tesla's achievement of the first hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. The Edison bust is featured prominently in this exhibition. Tesla is also the father of robotics. His initial demonstration was at Madison Square Garden in September 1888, where he displayed an iron-hulled boat that was operated by wireless remote control. These patents evolved into the technology behind guided missiles.
In 1895, Tesla constructed a special boat which could be remotely controlled. Through the antenna, a signal appears on a special coherer, which is a device sensitive to radio waves. And by a special mechanism, which is a digitally controlled mechanism, he could transmit commands to move the rudder or to stop the turning of the propeller or to start turning of the propeller and so on. That was patented in 1895.
The Century magazine published Tesla's principles of telegraphy without wires, popularizing scientific lectures given before the Franklin Institute in February 1893. The Electrical Review in 1896 published X-rays of a man made by Tesla with X-ray tubes of his own design. They appeared at the same time as when Röntgen announced his discovery of X-rays. Tesla never attempted to proclaim priority. Röntgen congratulated Tesla on his sophisticated X-ray pictures. Tesla even wrote Röntgen's name on one of his films. These rare photos of Tesla's hands were taken by the light of a vacuum tube he invented and proposed for a comfortable light source for photography. The breadth of his